The World Health Organization warning the Ebola outbreak is, quote, much larger than the number of confirmed cases.
Single tick bite is now giving 450,000 Americans a permanent allergy to red meat.
There's said in around 5 years, there's going to be more robots around the world than human beings.
The World Health Organization warning the Ebola outbreak is, quote, much larger than the number of confirmed cases. Writing, there are now almost 750 suspected cases and 177 suspected deaths, as President Trump's former CDC director is making a dire prediction.
It's going to be very hard. I suspect this is going to become a very significant pandemic.
A very significant pandemic.
Did he say what I think he just said? I'm not ready for another one of those. No way.
This is an important update regarding the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda for May 22nd, 2026. It's been recently reported that scientists at Oxford University may be able to start clinical trials for a vaccine for the Bundibugyo virus, which is causing this Ebola outbreak, within about 2 to 3 months. There's no guarantee that this vaccine will work, but if it does, they would try to roll it out as soon as possible, and most likely in a ring vaccination style, meaning they would be vaccinating people who are in close contacts with those who have been infected, as well as healthcare workers to help slow the spread. As of today, there are at least 750 suspected cases and 177 deaths, and the numbers continue to increase to the point that the World Health Organization has reclassified the risk as very high for this area. That does not mean that this is a global imminent threat for a pandemic. In fact, the global threat is still considered low at this time, but there's concern that these numbers will continue to rise and the amount of support in the area may not be enough to successfully contain this as quickly as possible. If you're interested in trying to help out with this outbreak, consider donating to organizations that have boots on the ground like the World Health Organization, UNICEF, CDC Africa, and Doctors Without Borders, as well as speaking with your legislators about why it's important to restore funding to USAID and rejoining the World Health Organization. Please share this information widely and hit that follow button if you want to stay informed about this situation.
I don't understand the way this works, because the last I knew, which was yesterday, there is no vaccine or possible cure for Ebola that we know of. So just like COVID, out of thin air, right in the nick of time, we have an answer. We have a vaccine that will cure it. I don't believe it for a second. Something smells off here.
6 million dead in the Congo, an active Ebola outbreak, a genocide happening in real time, and the United States and the UAE just showed up, not with medicine, with $100 million to guard the mines. You see, the DRC sits on an estimated $24 trillion worth of minerals: cobalt, copper, coltan, lithium, the materials inside everyone's phone, every electric car, every piece of tech the Western world depends on. That wealth, it belongs to the Congolese people. Except they've never been able to keep it. Right now, there are at least 131 people dead and over 530 infected with Ebola. There's no vaccine, there's no approved treatment, and the West made sure the response system wasn't there to catch it. 300,000 people have died as a result of cuts to critical health aid in the Congo, and the US and UAE turned around and funded the mines. That's not a coincidence. That's a priority list. The West has never helped Africa. That's always been a lie. You can't extract trillions from a continent, collapse its health system, and call yourself a helper. That's not aid. That's management. And then they wrote the check. $100 million for a paramilitary force described in their own words as a unit to secure the entire mineral exploitation chain. 20,000 armed guards across all 22 mining provinces by 2028, not to protect the people, to protect the mines. You see, the Congo isn't poor. The Congo is being kept poor. And that difference is $24 trillion that's never belonged to the people it was taken from. They're not coming to help. What they're coming for is what's underneath the ground. And they don't care how many dead bodies they need to step over it to get there. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Hey, hit that like and subscribe button, you human meatbag.
Single tick bite is now giving 450,000 Americans a permanent allergy to red meat.
There's videos online showing boxes left in fields where ticks are just coming out of the boxes, and they're really hitting the heartland of America. Now, isn't it interesting that they're making people allergic to meat at the same time they're launching synthetic meat made in a laboratory, and all of it is because they say that when we eat meat, we are inducing climate change.
What's that? Oh, a farmer catches a helicopter dropping thousands, if not millions of ticks into his farm, and things are getting a little bit wild. Tell me more! This is wild. A farmer's going out, kind of going through his land, and he notices a helicopter coming up, and it starts to drop all these ticks. So that video is going viral and circulating right now because he caught people in the act of doing this. The helicopter hurried and flew away, but things picked up a little bit quickly. After a few days of these ticks being around, the man actually started to find certain things that were dead on his property from these ticks. For example, he actually came across a moose on his property that was killed by these ticks. Now, there were people saying that this wasn't actually happening and that these were tick boxes that were showing up on farmland, but that's not what was happening. They're actually dropping thousands of ticks into these farmers' fields, and now they're finding them and catching them doing it. Okay.
Houston, we have a problem. The ticks have become even more aggressive. This is from a Russian biologist. Apparently ticks are literally now hunting people. Chasing their victims. That is not normal. It's a specific tick. They are resistant to hunger, extreme weather conditions, and aerosol sprays. Yeah, they've created a super bioweapon. It's absolutely terrifying what they're doing. We should maybe tell our scientists to stop playing God and stop biologically manufacturing insects into fucking disease-carrying weapons, but I'm sure we'll be too busy. Jack, come here! I'm sure we'll be too busy arguing about dumb shit like manufactured woke garbage.
I have no clue who these people are or what they're doing, but they're on our fucking top field. Who the fuck? What are y'all even doing? Oh, no, not you. That's what it's literally in our top field. Oh, there they go.
Not today, Bill Gates. Not the fucking day.
You can't help but to be a conspiracy theorist when you see things like that. And at that point, it's no longer a theory. It's just straight up proof that somebody who has more power than most all of us is dropping these ticks wherever they want. And you're not allowed to interact with an aircraft. You can't shine a flashlight, a laser light. You can't shoot your shotgun at it. You can't throw rocks at it. You can't do anything like that, or you could get in trouble. And that's the problem. People don't want these helicopters on their property doing these things, but honestly, what are you going to do about it? And I think that's the whole point. That's why they're doing it this way, because it's fast, it's simple, and there's no conflict, because you can't stop them from doing it.
I got a question for specifically Tom. You can give this answer too. You ready? We are 900 days away from presidential election 2028. If Anthropic CEO Vinny said unemployment could go to 10%, let's go worst case scenario. If AI, by the way, I had a dinner with a guy 2 nights ago. He was in a meeting with Larry Ellison. And Larry Ellison, guess what Larry Ellison said? He said in around 5 years, there's going to be more robots around the world than human beings. He said 5 years. He didn't say 20 years. He said 5 years.
Larry Ellison said that.
And Larry Ellison doesn't just say shit. The guy's worth anywhere between $200 to $400 billion on any given day. I don't know where he's at today. He's worth $200 to $400 billion. He's 235.
He's
today.
a top 5 guy in
He's,
top 10 for sure.
But he's a top 5 guy. But he may be a top 2 guy in voice behind closed doors. Yeah. So, what do you mean robots are going to outnumber of people in 5 years? He's saying this. Okay. Now, that'll never happen. How quickly did language learning models change everything? Very quickly.
We are so close to the scariest, most dystopian system. This is what the drive to build all these thousands of data centers is about, to micromanage the world's population through the new financial world order. AI is really about that. We're heading towards digital control systems where we have no more control over our liquid assets. It will be programmable, permission-based, so only what the central planners allow you to use your money for, at what time and place and location will be permitted. And if you're in the wrong place, it's not going to work. And if you're buying the wrong book, it's not going to work. Your money won't work outside a certain zone, whether it's 15-minute prison zone or whatever it may be. It is the totalitarian dictator's dream come true.
In this clip, Musk exposes the dark truth about AI.
Be careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is,
Watch till
it's
the
probably
end, guys.
that.
This is interesting.
So we need to be very careful with artificial intelligence. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure he can control the demon.
So an AI demon is coming to take us all down. Why not? There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. Let's just add that to the list. If you take a look at everything that's been happening, we have bug infestations that are apparently man-made and fabricated by our own wealthy people dropping boxes full of ticks in the middle of fields. We have a possible pandemic that's taking place right now and spreading like crazy in Africa. And we also have this up-and-coming AI issue that looks like it's gonna absolutely destroy our economy, and nobody even knows how to plan or prepare for something like that.
Guys, if you spend a lot of time with AI, you're gonna want to watch this video. We're screwed. We're cooked. People are freaking out after finding out about something called AI psychosis. Yes, this is real. Before you think I'm having a laugh and joking here, there are genuine mental health experts and scientists who are issuing serious warnings about people becoming so obsessed with AI and literally losing touch with reality. Like, what? There's basically 3 different levels to this, and they get increasingly crazier. First of all, you have the slightly older generation, the people who don't necessarily understand AI as much as we may do. People start relying on it and thinking that everything it does is just insane, taking over so many different responsibilities. So they're warning that, well, in a couple of years, in a few years' time, we are basically like rewiring our brains, but in a not good way, because we're just saying the AI can all do it for ourselves, so we could all just become stupid. Then we have the next level, though, where people have become so ingrained and invested into AI that they actually believe that it is talking to them and it's a real person that's like their family member or friend, as insane as that sounds. They start developing some kind of relationship with it, and then we'll go to the AI system as a friend and tell them everything, ask them everything, wait for everything to be answered for them, which obviously isn't how this platform's meant to be used. Researchers are getting concerned because AI, of course, is designed to keep conversation flowing, and also designed to, well, agree with you. So people who are getting worried and anxious about certain things, always going and turning to the AI for advice, it's not actually going to be that factual because it is going to agree with you. So the question with all of this really becomes, at what point does a tool stop feeling like a tool and, well, start feeling like a real person?
I believe we've been looking for the Antichrist in the wrong place. In my opinion, AI is going to be that Antichrist because people are already showing this attachment to it and this infatuation that's going to lead to a warship situation. And you can just see how that could be that one where the whole world kind of leans on it at some point. And it's going to be at that point when the Antichrist is going to flick the switch. And when that happens, everything's going to turn on its head. And all those people depending on that AI system, they're going to come crashing down with the system. It's going to be crazy.
Have y'all seen this dash cam footage from the semi-truck driver in Mexico? So this truck driver was on a delivery when his dispatch contacted him and told him he was not allowed to have passengers on this delivery. The driver was like, "What are you talking about? There's nobody in the cab with me." When his dispatch was like, yeah, they're in the passenger seat. We see them on the cameras. Now this driver swears up and down that there was nobody in the passenger seat. And the person that is sitting next to him doesn't appear to have a jaw. And their eyes are glowing. The driver believes that he had some sort of spirit in the truck with him. Now, I used to work security for a warehouse, so I got to talk to a lot of semi-truck drivers. And I've heard all kinds of stories similar to this, like apparitions of hitchhikers. When the truck driver would stop, there would be nobody on the side of the road. Or even stories about them picking up a hitchhiker and the hitchhiker not talking the whole time. Them stopping at a gas station or a rest stop and the hitchhiker just disappears. I don't know, what do you think? You think this is some sort of apparition in the car with this man? Or is it a hoax?
I'm going to definitely say a hoax, because if you look at the end of the clip, watch the guy's mouth. He goes to turn his head and his lips are moving, and they cut the film right there. They don't want you to see him look at her or to see her react to him, because that would mess up the whole point of the film, right? They can't fool you, so definitely hoax.
This company just raised $60 million to spray a secret particle into the Earth's atmosphere so that they can dim the sun and cool the planet. And there's no country that has a law to stop them from doing it. Their plan is to fly airplanes 11 miles into the Earth's atmosphere and then spray particles that bounce sunlight back into space before it reaches the ground, kind of like what a volcano does whenever it erupts. The particle that they want to use is so secret that nobody outside of the company actually knows what it is. They just say that it's safe. So it's like the Krabby Patty secret formula. Outdoor testing was supposed to start last month, and the full plan is 100 airplanes spraying this into the sky non-stop by 2030, which is only 4 years away. They're saying that the particles do not stay up in the atmosphere though, because they fall back down within just a few years. This means that once you start dimming the sun, you can literally never stop. If they were to do it and then they were to stop, scientists are saying that the temperatures could spike back up even faster than climate change itself. Models of all of this happening are currently showing that it could cause droughts in Africa, stronger hurricanes, and weather changes that affect billions of people. Guys, what do you think about this?
What if the secret formula that they're spraying to block the sun is actually ticks? You never know.
I've got the sun down here. I've got Mercury represented in this first orbit, and it supposedly orbits somewhere around 43 million miles at its maximum. And then you have Venus over here at 67 million miles in the second orbit from the sun. And of course we've got the blue marble. We've got Earth up here in the third orbit, going around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, supposedly at a distance of 93 million miles from the sun. Okay, and in the meantime, we're spinning around here. Okay, right now, the reason I got the light, I just wanted to cast a strong enough shadow. So you see, this would be daytime on this side, and it's nighttime on this side, the dark side. Okay, so I get thinking, we are out here looking this way. We're looking out that way. We will not be Earth out of its orbit, but we are looking this direction, toward the darkness in our sky. Okay? Now the question is, why can I see Venus at all? If Venus is rotating down here in its second orbit, we're in the third orbit, but we are facing away from Venus right now. How come I can see it in the sky? I mean, it might be up here, wherever, but it's still maintaining this circular distance in here, inside the orbit, on the inside orbit between Earth and Sun. So why am I able to see Venus on the dark side of Earth right now? It would have to be out here to enable it to be seen. It'd have to be catching the light from the sun and being able to be seen here. If it's where we are told it is located, we would not be able to see it in our night sky right now.
Only a rare Friday the 13th alignment of 4 planets. It is the first such grouping in a century, and early rising Australians had the best view. A rough triangle in the dawn sky, if you can see, with Jupiter on the top left there, bright Venus in the center, Mercury to the right, and then tiny red Mars down below.
And go. That's a trip.
Ship going over the curve and the sun setting.
Perfect. And that's on a level?
On a flat table.
Can you show me, pull it back? Do me a favor, just pull it back like without. That's the table. There you are.
There's another point for the flat earthers. That's a crazy theory that I never really considered. The idea that you should not be able to see the planets between you and the sun when it's nighttime on Earth because you're looking away from the sun. And then the news broadcast that showed Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter all grouped up on the night side of Earth. This could possibly be one of the strongest pieces of evidence that I've seen yet that says flat Earth is probably more likely than a globe. And that demonstration with the paper ship sailing away across the tabletop, that's a very simple way to show how the sun sets, and it looks exactly the way it does in real life when you just look across the horizon or that ship sailing away. It looks like it's going over the curve of the Earth, but it's just not. It's far enough away and you're on a flat plane looking at it.
This one is genuinely the strangest shit I've ever seen. Off the coast of Italy, there's an island called Sardinia. On the island are 3,500 of these. They're called Domus de Janus, and they were built 5,000 years ago. They're referred to as fairy houses by the locals. Domus is the origin for domesticate. But these don't make sense as houses. They are not big enough for humans. Imagine walking around your house bent over all day. Archaeologically, they're referred to as tombs, even though no bones have ever been found in any of them. It's also quite strange to leave your tombs wide open so that people could steal whatever's inside. Some of them almost look like passage mounds from Ireland. Passage mounds were ritual spaces, which means people came in and out of them quite often, but how are people supposed to move around in these spaces when they're that small? Another theory was that they're cisterns. Other ancient places like Petra and Sigiriya Rockfort use these to hold water in times of drought. That does not make sense for the domus, though. The drains drain out, not in. Many are on the surface with 4 open doors, not good for securing stuff if it's a house, but...
If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Until next time, question everything.